The headlines. Governor General Reverend Kapu says GNUT is committed to the revitalization of the Solomon Islands economy. Papua New Guinea Minister for Information and Communication Technology met with his counterpart, the Minister of Communication and Aviation, Honorable Frederick Kologeto in Honiara. And the Ministry of Fisheries and Marine Resources stands committed to ensure the sustainable management of sea cucumber resources. Hello, you're watching SIBC's TV News Bulletin. I'm Andrea Mahanwa. Governor General Reverend Kapu says the Government for National Unity and Transformation is committed to the revitalization of the Solomon Islands economy. The Central Bank of Solomon Islands, in its 2023 annual report released early this year, indicates despite the positive outlook predictions, the economy remains fragile. Sharon Anau reports.
Governor General Reverend David Kapu says the Government for National Unity and Transformation, GNUT, is committed to the revitalization of the Solomon Islands economy. The Governor General says during his speech from the throne in Parliament on Monday. Reverend Kapu says government is working to enhance connectivity infrastructure and develop the country's economic sectors.
The government is committed to revitalizing our economy through innovative and sustainable practices. This will be done by enhancing connectivity infrastructure and building on our natural advantage for growth in agriculture, tourism, fisheries, mining, with the aim of creating a resilient and diversified economy that benefits all citizens. We will focus on trade with other countries through agriculture so that our rural farmers can access these overseas markets for their product and also implement targeted imported substitution program.
He says government's commitment is seen through the recent trade discussions held with China. He adds national unity and stability is needed if Solomon Islands is to advance both economically and socially.
The recent inroads made by the government in the recent trip to the People's Republic of China is a testament of our determination to revitalize the agriculture and aquaculture sector by gaining access to the Chinese market to trade. Secondly, unity and stability. National unity and stability are essential for progress. The government encourages an inclusive society where diversity is celebrated and every citizen feels valued and heard. Stability will be ensured through transparent governance, rule of law, and respect for human rights. Political stability is a prerequisite for development. A classic example is the former government that saved its full term. Despite the global pandemic and November 2021 riots, the Democratic Coalition Government for Advancement still managed to deliver, which is a testament to political stability.
Sharon Nanau, SIBC TV.
Solomon Islands foreign policy remains friends to all and enemies to none. Governor General Reverend David Kapu announced this in Parliament on Monday when delivering his maiden speech from the throne. He says the country's approach to its foreign relations will be based on mutual understanding.
The government will maintain its foreign policy's position of friends to all, enemy to none. Our country's foreign policy objectives shall be pursued through a collaborative approach that fosters mutual understanding and cooperation on key global issues. The government will continue to strengthen international trading partnerships to promote investment cooperation and external trade by facilitating the exchange of goods and services between nations. It is envisaged that this will benefit our local economy and transform our people's life.
Since switching its diplomatic ties from Taiwan to the People's Republic of China in 2019, Solomon Islands has since attracted international attention and was heavily scrutinized for its dealings with PRC. Papua New Guinea's Minister for Information and Communication Technology met with his counterpart, the Minister of Communication and Aviation, Honorable Frederick Kologeto in Honiara.
Papua New Guinea's Minister for Information and Communication Technology, Honorable Timothy Masiu, on Sunday met with his counterpart, the Minister of Communication and Aviation, Honorable Frederick Kologeto, in Honiara. The two ministers discussed potential areas that PNG and Solomon Islands can cooperate on to deliver connectivity, digital transformation and broadcasting to its people. Honorable Masiu told Sibc News in an interview that the meeting was a successful one.
I want to say that the meeting was very, very successful. It was a very good meeting. We discussed a wide range of issues facing our ministries, and also spoke about how we can collaborate together to help each other, to both countries and both ministries to work together in making sure that we are moving along well in the ICT space. I want to thank the Minister, Honorable Frederick Kolongeta, for giving me the opportunity to meet with him. And I want to thank the Solomon Islands government and the people for having us here to discuss issues that we face in the ICT space, and of course how we can address those issues.
Honorable Masiu said that a wide range of issues were discussed, and among them, Minister Kolongeto expressed the possibility of inviting a third telecommunication company into Solomon Islands.
Some of the main areas that the minister is looking at is in terms of upgrading in the ICT space. Connectivity is very important. Interoperability is also very important. Accessibility is also very important. And those areas, they are problematic areas, both in Papua New Guinea and in Solomon Islands. I want to think that in Solomon Islands it would be easy to roll out these infrastructures, but in PNG, because of our topography and geography, we have a mammoth task to reach the unreached, and so we have 3 telco operators right now in PNG, and that's one area that Minister Frederick also mentioned, that he would like to see another company, telco operator, to come into Solomon Islands. So we've discussed that. We have 3 telco operators in PNG, while you have 2 operators here in Solomon Islands. And so we discussed that as well.
Sibc News understands that the ministers agreed to develop an MOU that will clearly define the scope and specific areas of cooperation between the two countries. The areas to be considered within the scope of the MOU includes, but not limited to, sharing of information and experiences on policy and regulatory matters, managing communication along the border areas, exploring potential partnership in submarine cable deployment, building and managing data centers, cooperate in cybersecurity activities, among others. For Sibc TV, I'm Eliza Kukutu.
The Ministry of Fisheries and Marine Resources stands committed to ensure sustainable management of sea cucumber resources. Simon Tavake reports.
The Ministry of Fisheries and Marine Resources stands committed to ensure sustainable management of sea cucumber resources. Minister Honorable Nestor Giro highlighted this during the Melanesian Sea Cucumber Stakeholder Dialogue in Honiara recently. He explained the current policies are aimed to address over-exploitation of the valuable resource.
The Solomon Islands government, through the Ministry of Fisheries and Marine Resources, has been deeply committed to the sustainable management of our marine resources. Our sea cucumber fisheries, a valuable asset to our economy and marine biodiversity, have faced challenges due to over-exploitation. Recognizing this, we have implemented several key initiatives to ensure their recovery and long-term sustainability. One of our flagship programs has been the restocking of sea cucumbers. This initiative involves transferring hatchery-raised juvenile sea cucumbers to open reef systems. This program not only aims to replenish depleted wild stocks, but also provides valuable data for planning large-scale breeding and management efforts across the country. In addition to restocking, the Ministry has developed a comprehensive sea cucumber fishery management policy set to be implemented soon. This policy is designed to address the current overexploitation by introducing measures such as controlled harvest seasons. We are also dedicated to enhancing our data collection and monitoring systems to inform better management decisions. The Ministry of Fisheries and Marine Resources is actively engaging with local communities, stakeholders, and the regional partners to ensure that our management practices are both effective and inclusive.
However, despite the measures in place, illegal harvesting of sea cucumbers remains an issue for authorities. Ontong Java community representative Lawrence Makili took a stand against illegal exploitation of the resource in his community.
I think everybody's aware that I stood up, even there on my own people, and I would have gotten some situations when it comes to livelihood difficulties here. Despite the fact that they're facing more issues, but when they start doing the illegal harvest, I stood up against them. I always stood up against them because not only because they do the illegal harvest, but also because of the consequences of exploitation. And over-exploitation, but by depleting resource. And that one will come back to them, When you deplete the resources and the sustainability no more, the future generations of our community, they will suffer.
He adds, issues such as climate change and poor access to shipping services has contributed to this illegal practice.
People from Long Java, they left with no resort, but to the last resort now is harvest and bestima because gardening and all that stuff are affected by climate change. And you see, these are all the things that our authorities were blind to see. Without harvesting the resource, people will not suffer now. It's not because we can't grow things, it is because of climate change. Climate change, negative impact and directly impacting what islands belong in. So there are so many connected issues with regards to this issue. So when it comes to climate change, people belong neglected too. Yeah. There's no clear policy on climate change for people, especially on atolls or even other man-made islands or other low-lying atolls in Timor and other provinces. We are frontline most negatively impacted, directly. And when it comes to our country in terms of policy making, we're looking more at the fundamental elements to consider and have a look at it, how they can be dealt with. So they all related, and then boils down to that fact that people must live, and they, despite the ban of the besima harvest, they continue to harvest it.
I'm Simon Tawake for Sibc TV.
The Ministry of Health and Medical Services is looking at engaging in more health cooperation with the Government of India. Speaking at a signing event in Honiara, Minister Honorable Paul Bosawai says that they will be exploring training opportunities for health officials in India. He adds they are planning to have a health attaché based at the High Commission office in India to facilitate these engagements.
With the high prevalence of non-communicable diseases and the resulting high rates of amputations, we will continue to pursue your offer to bring to Chaipa food camp to Solomon Islands. We will also be exploring training opportunities for our health professionals in Indian hospitals and universities, as well as having a formal overseas patient referral systems. To help coordinate some of the health programs with your health institutions, we are planning to have a health attaché based in the new Solomon Islands High Commission office in India to be our liaison officer.
Youth leaders gathered together in Honiara to mark the 2024 International Youth Day under the theme From Clicks to Progress, Youth Digital Pathways for Sustainable Development. Simon Tavake reports.
Youth leaders gathered together in Honiara to mark the 2024 International Youth Day under the theme From Clicks to Progress, Youth Digital Pathways for Sustainable Development. The event falls annually on 12th August to recognize the valuable contributions of youths in society. Honiara City Council Assistant Youth Development Officer Edian Maneforu told SIBC News that participants invited to the event are representatives from communities across Honiara City.
We invited community youth reps coming in, and we host a motivational talk. Guest speaker I think Hemeke special was from Honiara Gizona, Western Province, and office have looking important for him come and give a talk enlightening more image young people Honiara Osem. So I'm not about the event today. So basically not only one group, but I'm covering 15 communities, so I'm with team, and I'm not invite him to come.
Youths engaged in interactive activities and heard presentations from invited speakers such as community advocate and youth mentor Bruno Manele. Mr. Manele encouraged youths to use digital platforms to understand the broader issues and make positive contributions to the country.
With the current system in Golem, our young people are victimized by the lack of access to financial support, and one time because of the lack of connection or access, all definite automatically doing other things otherwise. We have no good law society, so law me jump in all of that. So our stories for today is to let them understand this is why we're struggling. No problem, blame me. No problem. It's a collective thinking. Minimum same. When you not impart blame too, the economy goes down. So you got the managers. You said all big man blame government, but we also have the workers. We are going to driving things. So when we workers complain, but we are not working, we have a problem. So today, me start with the economy just to help them understand through this country is really need him.
Meanwhile, coordinator of the Ngosi Youth Committee, Caroline Moore, hopes to see the lessons learned during the program to contribute to her community.
Me say him one fala good thing about him. This one too time me come and me just listen because there are points where me fala no kasem, but then say me just hear him that say him got a positive and negative impact side of that one, which is social media. Social media him also helpful and lo some fala negative sides of him. Social media him sometimes him have lead or him have give more influence lo ota youths blame these days too, like these days by looking ota primaries no but ot start for mobile phones, not like ota old people yeah ota last time ota doing normal like writing, letter writing or ota doing connection, but this time him technology so him got some fala positive and negative impacts where some been come learning here too, and I think we hope for the best and bringing back the community blooming so that after today Banisa will go back and share it with them.
She also encouraged youths to preserve and work together for the common good of everyone.
One fala encouragement word Bami gave him Noma as a youth coordinator for Ngosi, never give up, young people. Even though you barakasem no time or you kasem level at the lowest point of your life, and then challenges where you're facing within communities or family especially, me advising you and me encouraging you, not give up, work together as a team, always be there for each other, and then slowly by falakasem and reaching point where by work together and achieving any other things for community, and by also become successful to for future belief.
SIBC News understands the program was organized by the Honiara Youth Council with support from the Child Fund New Zealand. Simon Tawake, SIBC TV.
The Ministry of Commerce, Labour and Immigration is currently working to have the Solomon Islands border management system accessible online. Sharon Anau with more.
The Ministry of Commerce, Labour and Immigration is currently working to have the Solomon Islands border management system accessible online. Immigration Acting Director Chris Akusawa announced during the National Economic Summit held recently. He says they are looking to digitize all the country's point of entry. In efforts to increase the country's economic growth, the current border management system needs to be more investment-friendly.
We are working on the border management system that soon, by next year, we should be going online to apply for a visa to enter Solomon Islands. So we are developing a border management system, which is we are going to digitize all points of entries and departure out of Solomon Islands, including the airports, our seaports, our traditional border crossings from eastern border to western border of the country, which will encourage people to access our visas to make sure that we are more visible for our tourism customers and people who want or who wish to invest in Solomon Islands. So,
Mr. Akosawa adds they are now carrying out the consultation on the ministry's new visa policy. He said this will allow the introduction of different visa categories.
We are now doing the consultation on our visa policy, where we are going to introduce different visa categories to encourage investors in the country, tourism, and other people that who wish to come to Solomon Islands. So the challenges that we are experiencing now is the constraint is we don't have an existing border management system, which makes it more difficult for us to communicate with our clients. So every time at night times, I have to use my phone to make sure that to respond to emails and advise them on our visa system and visa to enter the country. And I process and approve up to 50 visas a night, not at daytime because of the time differences. So people from Europe and other parts of the country, when they are still awake, we are already sleeping. So I have to wake up at night to ensure that I process their visas. So that is one of the constraints that we need to address is visibility and connectivity.
Sharon Nanal, Sibc TV.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and External Trade is working on implementing its reintegration strategy for returning workers. Permanent Secretary Colin Beck told SIBC News the strategy needs the collaboration of all partner ministries for it to be successfully implemented. He says the current strategy also needs mechanisms that can record the number of workers returning to the country to ensure support is provided for them.
Yeah, on the question of reintegration, we already have a strategy on this. And this is something that Mevalabai try to roll them out going forward now. I think it's just but it needs also a little bit some implementation. I'm not really rest with them one ministry. It basically rest with everyone. A range of ministries. What we want to see also is look at the arrival cards where come in or the visitors play come in. Yeah? We also want to see a line where also, for the returning workers for ticking. So how many come back so that you must have a track him. We have a strategy where try to not only track him but also try to follow up with them see how now settle in. What else do they need to if there is any support where so we give him in terms of things we got to learn him, maybe they can try to translate it in country.
SIBC News understands the reintegration strategy is one of the main components of the revised labour mobility policy. Currently, only 22% of Solomon Islands forest is suitable for commercial logging. Sharon now with the details.
Currently, only 22% of Solomon Islands forest is suitable for commercial logging. Ministry of Forestry and Research Permanent Secretary Richardson Raumai announced during the National Economic Summit held recently. He says 18% of the forest suitable for logging has already been logged. Mr. Raumai adds if the current rate of logging export continues, government's revenue from the logging sector will decline after the next 10 years.
I think the total commercial native forest that is suitable for logging in Solomon Islands is around 22%. Yeah? So we have about 68.9% of forests. It's untouched forest, that is forests up on the mountains. only 22% of suitable forest area for logging. We already have logged around 18% of that. So that remains with around 4%. And as we are talking now, there are already felling licenses for the remaining 4%. So the sustainable rate, if I could be correct, is around 2,500 cubic meters per annum. That's for Solomon Islands forest. And as from records and reports, we have around an average of 1.7 million cubic meters of log exported for the past 3 or so years. So that means that with the remaining 4% of our loggable forest, it should take us maybe less than 10 years, yeah? Unless we reduce the annual quota to around maybe 500 cubic meters, 500,000 cubic meters per annum, then we could expect to get revenue from the forestry sector for the maybe 15 or so years to come.
Sharon Nanau, Sibc TV.
And now the latest in sports with Yan Kaukui.
The first of the two international friendly matches between Solomon Islands under-19 and the Australian under-17, known as the Subway Joys, is set for tomorrow 6 p.m. at the National Stadium. Speaking at a press conference today, National Under-19 head coach Batram Suri says it's a privilege and honor for him and the boys to play such international friendly with the young Australians.
I think it's a great pleasure to play against the young Australian under-17, and the last time we were playing against Australia was in 2004. And I was the captain at the time. I drew 2 holes in Adelaide, and then after we were home and away, and here and then in Australia, Sydney, and that was the last time. And for the young boys under-19, it's a great pleasure to play against the young Australian, and yes, I hope it happened before we went for the OFC competition in Samoa. But unfortunately, it's not that time for both teams. But yeah, good to play against the young Australian team.
Meanwhile, Australian under-17 head coach Brad Maloney says those two international friendly matches is very important for their preparations towards the Asian Cup.
Firstly, I'd like to thank you for having us here. It's been great. It's a great experience for us to travel here to Solomon Islands and play these two friendly matches against the under-19 Solomon Islands national team. We have a mixed group of players. A lot of our core group of players, I can say, from our previous tournament in the AFF, and a lot of new faces that have joined as well. So I feel it will be a good test for our players to play these two matches, and we are really looking forward to the challenge. Yeah, as I said, I think it's going to be a really good test for our players. We've come here to gain this international experience and exposure. So for a lot of the players, it's their first time playing international football. Some of them, it's the first time they've travelled internationally. So all of those things will be great for us moving forward when we focus on AFC qualifiers and things like that. So this experience will be invaluable to our team, and as I say, we're really looking forward to a quality match against a good side.
Solomon Islands under-19 captain Billy Ifey says it's a privilege to wear the armband once more to lead the team.
I was feeling excited. Being captain, it's not easy, but you have to do what is best for the team. Lead the team is not easy, but I have to do my best to help the team. Very excited to play in the stadium, and we are looking forward.
The second friendly match is set down for Sunday 7 p.m. at the National Stadium. Tickets is currently sold at $10 for adults and $2 for children. Yan Kaukui for Sibc TV.
And that's news. Follow us on sibconline.com.sb and our SIBC News Facebook page for more of our latest stories. Thanks for watching.